Has there been much interest in New Zealand's Zero Carbon Act?
I've actually been really surprised at how much interest there is and how much people around the world have heard about it and know about it. I had a European minister start to talk to me about the various provisions like the 5-year emissions budget or the nature of the Climate Commission and so on. I was like, good Lord, like, why do you even know this? And it's interesting because there are a lot of other countries now that are starting to think about putting in place their own climate change legislation. And I guess because of the publicity around the Zero Carbon Act, they're basically using it as a reference point and saying what of that would be useful in terms of their own context.
New Zealand's tiny, as people will often point out, naysayers will point out, we can't make much of a difference. But I wonder, as part of the difference we can make, being a thought leader in this area.
Yes, it is. I mean, frankly, the world needs good news stories. And in terms of timing, because, the Zero Carbon Act passed 5 weeks ago, and because it passed with bipartisan support, that has really caught the imagination of countries around the world. And I think it's made it easier for some other countries to start to move on it themselves. And, we're not the only country, right? The UK and various other countries have got, other pieces of legislation. But you're starting to see those that have kind of gone early, like ourselves, kind of making it okay for other countries to follow. And I think that can only be a good thing.
What's the best you can hope for coming out of COP?
Well, like I said, because every country essentially has veto rights, it does trend towards the lowest common denominator. And at the same time, you've got to respect the fact that the science is what it is, and our response has to match the science. And so I guess the best that I can hope for is that there will be a compromise that moves things forward. And that completes the process of writing the rule book for the Paris Agreement. Now, it won't be perfect, right? I mean, I think the nature of climate change policy in New Zealand, actually, but around the world, is that it is consensus, it is compromise. No one gets everything that they want.